Shadowing mortgage deposit schemes becoming more prevalent in Australia. Slow version. Sarah and Lane found their dream home on the Gold Coast, but it wasn't long before it was taken from them. The day before settlement was literally when we found out that we had been pretty much scammed all of our money. After successful bidding from the property, the couple received an email from who they thought was their conveyancer. They had the right fund deposit that we needed. There was no difference to recognize that other than that you end of the day email that wasn't talking to real person. So they went to ANZ bank branch to transfer more than $215,000. I'd say, well, I'm here in the email. It literally pick up my phone, zooms in an account details on the email, plugged into their system, did the transfer, then we were not the wiser than anything was wrong. The money has been transferred to a scam account. The couple were victims of what's called a spear phishing attack. But these sort of hard target attacks, I think, are much more difficult to pick up. They play to human behavior, which is a level of comfort with the kind of names and brains that you're dealing with. We're much more likely, unfortunately, to fall victims to these. According to ACRC, Australians lost more than $16 million in payment redirection scams in 2023. The ABC understands the money was not seen overseas but into an Australian account. The police investigation has uncovered possible suspects, including university students in Melbourne, and the case has been referred to Victoria Police. ANZ was only able to recover $18,000. The bank says it unable to comment on individual customers. The reality is electronic banking is scary now and we have no control over it. Their devastation a warning for others. Rachel Collection, ABC News. One more. Sarah and Lane found their dream home on the Gold Coast, but it was long before it was taken from them. The day before settlement was literally when we found out that we had been pretty much scammed all of our money. After successful bidding for the property, the couple received an email from who they thought was their conveyancer. They had right. Funds deposit that we needed, there was no difference to recognize that other than that, the AU and the end of the email, they wasn't talking to a real person. So they went to ANZ Bank branch to transfer more than $250,000. I said, well, I'm here to email, and they literally pick up my phone, zooms in account details on the email, plug into their system, did the transfer, and we were not the wiser that anything was wrong. The money has been transferred to a scam account. The couple was victim was what called a spear phishing attack. But this side of hard target attacks are much more difficult to pick up. They apply to human behavior, which is a level of comfort, the kind of names and brands you're dealing with, and we are much more likely, unfortunately, to fall victim to this. According to ACE/C, Australia lost more than $16 million in a payment rejection scams in 2023. The ABC understand the money was not sent overseas but into Australia account. The police investigation has uncovered possible suspects, including a university student in Melbourne, and a case has been referred to Victoria Police. ANZ was only able to recover $18,000. The bank says is unable to comment on individual customers. The reality is electronic banking is scary now, and we have no control over it. The devastation warning for others. Rachel Clarkson, ABC News. Lost. Sarah and Lynn found their dream home on the Gold Coast, but it wasn't long before it was taken from them. The day before settlement was literally when we found out that we'd been pretty much scams all of our money. After successfully bidding for the property, the couple received an email from who they thought their conveyancer. They had the right fund deposit when it is there was no difference to recognize that other than an AU end of the day email, I wasn't talking to a real person. So they went to ANZ bank branch to transfer more than $250,000. I said we were here the email, and they actually picked up my phone, zoomed in the account details on the email, plugged into their system, did the transfer, and we were not wiser than anyone. The money has been transferred to a scam account. The couple were victim of what called a spear phishing attack. But this is highly targeted text was more difficult to pick up. They applied human behavior, which is level comfort, the kind of names branch you're dealing with, and we're much more likely, unfortunately, for victims of this. According to ABC, Australia lost more than $16 million in the payment retraction scheme in 2023. The ABC understands the money was not sent overseas but into Australian count. The police investigation has uncovered possible suspects, including a university student in Melbourne, and the case has been forwarded to Victoria Police. ANZ was only able to cover $80,000. The bank says never to comment on individual customer. The reality is electronic banking is scary now, and we have no control over it. The devastation a warning for others. ABC News. Lost. Sarah and Lynn found their dream home on Gold Coast, but it was long before it was taken from them. The day before settlement was literally when we found out that we'd been pretty much scams all of our money. After successful bidding for the property, the couple received an email from who they thought were a conveyancer. They had the right and fund deposit that when it is there was no difference to recognize that other than an AU end of the email that was talking to a real person. So they went to ANZ bank branch to transfer more than $250,000. I said, well, I'm here to email. They literally picked up my phone, zooms in the account details on the email, plugged into their system, did the transfer. We were not the wiser anything was wrong. The money has been transferred to a scam account. The couple was victim of what called a spear phishing attack. But this is highly targeted attacks that was much more difficult to pick up and applied human behavior, which is a level comforts the kind of names branch you're dealing with, and we're much more likely, unfortunately, to fall victim. According to A24C, Australia lost more than $16 million in a payment retraction scams in 2023. The ABC understands the money was not seen overseas but into an Australian account. The police investigation has uncovered possible suspects, including university students in Melbourne, and the case has been referred to Victoria Police. ANZ only able to recover $18,000. The bank says it's unable to comment on individual customer. The reality is electronic banking is scary now, and we have no control over it. The devastation warning for other. Patrick Cleason, ABC News. So this news is talking about the some the past scams happens in Australia. I was very surprised and then scared how it is like a wire than people thought nowadays. And like I'm also nowadays looking for the property, and if I had this experience, maybe I also wouldn't able to catch out what is a scam and what is reality, because they sense the exactly same account and name, the lawyer with who I'm contact with to process the property. So I don't know how can I avoid these things. Maybe before sending the deposit, I might be need to contact the what is it? The lawyer, not the lawyer. What's conveyancer, conveyancer. So I think as much as the technology has been developed, there's like a more risk is existed. More risk is there. Thank you.